step down into darkness, open my eyes, let me see beauty that made this heart adore you, hope of a life spent with you. So here I am to worship. Here I am to bow.
Good morning, my brothers and sisters. My name is Brother Paul Offin, as you know me. This morning, I'm coming on your way again to present a lesson. In actual fact, this is not a lesson, but this is an answer to a question raised by some people who worship on the Sabbath. And these questions these questions were in response to the videos I made about 3 weeks ago. And the title of those videos were, "Why do Christians not observe the Sabbath?" I think these videos have generated a lot of questions from especially my brothers and sisters who claim they are observing the Sabbath. And the two key people who, ask these questions are my brother Frimpong Dechi and also Felix of the Seventh-day Pentecostal Assembly. So, they put a video at my page responding to the video I made with the title, "Why do Christians not observe the Sabbath?" And they were asking some questions. Following the video, they put it there, and they started writing a lot of questions too, and they want me to come and answer it. So I'm taking this opportunity to answer the questions that they raised. But what I'll plead with you is that trying to look for those videos I made. Why do Christians not observe the Sabbath? If you have not watched that, I know most people have watched that, but if you have not watched that, I would say try to look for that video. It's important so that you can understand why the brothers ask those questions and why I'm also offering these answers to them. So, as I said, once again, my name is Brother Paul Offin, as you know me. And before I start, I want us to commit ourselves to God in prayer. So let's have a word of prayer. Father God and Almighty, once again, I've come before you, and I pray that, God, you use me to speak to my audience, most especially my brothers and sisters who do not understand that the Sabbath and the commandments given to the Jews are no more in force, so that they will understand and come and follow the Christian religion instead of following Judaism. I pray for all my hearers, bless them and help them to understand this lesson in Jesus' name. Amen. So, brothers and sisters, as I said, that is what I'm going to deal with. But because the lesson is going to be too long, what I will do is I will break it into half an hour. So we may have about 3 to 4 parts for this lesson. But bear with me. If you finish listening to this part 1, please look for the part 2 to help you to understand this fully. So, what our brother said, what we are going to do is to focus on the following, because that is where the questions were. They say that I said the Sabbath was not given to man in the Garden of Eden. And their question, they claim that Sabbath was given to man in the Garden of Eden, which I also said that is not correct. Sabbath was not given to man in the Garden of Eden. And so that is the first point. And their second point is, okay, if I teach that God's law was not given to man in the Garden of Eden, then that means I want to say that the people at that time did not have any law. So people like Noah, Abraham, and Adam did not have any law. So they want me to come and answer that. Why am I saying the Sabbath was not given in the Garden of Eden? And they also want me to answer a comparison they made between Matthew chapter 5 verse 17 and Matthew chapter 3 verse 15, which is, saying the fulfillment of Christ said in Matthew 5:17 that he did not come to abolish the law, but to fulfill it. And also in Matthew chapter 3 verse 15, where Jesus went to John the Baptist for baptism, and John was, dragging his feet not to baptize him. And he said, I want it to be so, because through these, all righteousness will be fulfilled. So they are combining these two, fulfilled, and they want me to answer if I'm saying that the Matthew chapter 5 verse 17 was not talking about the 10 commandments, but was talking about the prophecy regarding Jesus Christ, which was to be fulfilled here. Now, what I want my brothers from the who follow the Sabbath is that I want us to first opening our lesson with a Bible verse that Paul, quoted to the people or the Christians in Rome. Now, in Romans chapter 10, verse 1 to 4, I want us to listen and listen carefully. But I'll also play with you that if you get the video that my brothers made to counteract my video, it is on the internet. And the man is from the Seventh-day Pentecostal Assembly. And if you go to my page where I put my lesson there, he also put his lesson to counteract what I said. And I want you to play those videos and then listen to my two, and you make your judgment. He is saying that the Sabbath and the 10 Commandments law was given to Adam and Eve, was given to man from the Garden of Eden. And I am saying that that is not true. And this is false teaching. So, that is where we're trying to, draw the curtain down. Now, this is what Paul said in Romans chapter 10, verse 1 to 4. He says, "Brethren, my heart desire and prayer to God for Israel is that they might be saved. For I bear them records that they have a zeal of God, but not according to the knowledge. For they, being ignorant of God's righteousness, and going about to establish their own righteousness, have not submitted themselves unto the righteousness of God. For Christ is the end of the law for righteousness to everyone that believes." Now, why is Paul pleading here? Here is the case. Paul has observed that his brothers and sisters, that is the Jews he's talking about, though Jesus Christ has come and we are now a new chapter, a new covenant, these Israelites were still holding on to the old law, the old covenant, the law given to them on the mountain Sinai, the 10 Commandments law, and all the Sabbath and the other laws involved. But Paul knew that once Christ has come, these laws are no more binding people. But the Israelites were still holding on to this law. Like today, we have people calling themselves the SABATARIANs who are still saying that we should observe the Sabbath. And that is what is leading to all these kind of, answer to the question that they pose. Paul said, my heart desire for these Israelites is that they might be saved, because they have a zeal of God, but not according to knowledge. So many people are doing, well, in terms of they're saying that they are doing God's work, but they are not doing it according to the knowledge. What knowledge? What God says we should do in His word, that is not what people are practicing today. So it doesn't matter how you practice your Christianity to say that you are worshiping God. If you don't follow the pattern which is laid down, or the foundation laid down by the apostles, if you don't follow that, and you go and follow the Sabbath given to the Jews on Mountain Sinai, then Paul is saying that you need to be redeemed, because you are still under that bondage, under that yoke. The people were still holding on to the old law given to them on Sinai. They did not know that after Christ had come, they were no longer under this law. Galatians chapter 3, verse 5 said so. You read there. It said, before faith came, we, the Israelites, Paul was speaking, were kept under that law. Which law? The law that was given to them on Mountain Sinai. So the law was a guide, was like a schoolmaster to them, was like their guardian, leading them to Christ. That is what the scripture says. And verse 25 said, after faith has come, we, who are the Israelites, are no longer under this law, under this schoolmaster. And that one too, my brothers and sisters don't understand. So they are saying that they are still under this old law. Though Paul is saying Christ has come and we don't need to be under it. Now, the first question I want to answer from my brothers, Frimpong, Deche, and also Felix, is that they want me to answer Genesis chapter 2, verse 2 to 3, which they claim that is where God gave the Sabbath to man. So which means Adam and Eve, they all observed the Sabbath. That is what they want us to understand. And he said that God gave the Sabbath to mankind on that, in that garden. So they want us to believe that by giving us this quotation. Now, brothers and sisters, let's read this quotation together. It is in Genesis chapter 2, verse 2 to 3. And ask yourself, where did God give the Sabbath? And when did God give the Sabbath or the 10 Commandments law to people in this quotation. Now, I read Genesis chapter 2, verse 2 to 3. It says, on the seventh day, God ended his work, which he had made. And he, God, rested on the seventh day from all his work which he had made. Are you following? Continue. And God blessed the seventh day. That is where their problem is. God blessed the seventh day and sanctified, because that in it he, God, rested from all his work which God created and made. End of quote. So this is the quotation my brothers are telling me and you that God gave the Sabbath to people in the Garden of Eden. Now tell me, where in this quotation, in this quote, is saying that God gave Sabbath and the Ten Commandments law to people in the Garden of Eden? He said God has done his work, has finished creating the universe. And God, on the seventh day, he rested. And because God rested on the seventh day, he, God, sanctified the seventh day, because that is, in it, he rested. End of quote. And you want me to believe that God gave the Sabbath and the Ten Commandments to the people in the garden, Adam. You are quoting this verse. It is not there. But brothers and sisters, we have to be very, very careful not to push something which is not there into the Bible because of what you believe, because of what you teach to your following. This is not there. Now, remember that God communicated with Adam and Eve in the garden. He commanded them not to eat the forbidden fruit. God said to them, they should not eat. And this is a commandment, because he told them the very day you eat it, you will die. It's a commandment. But let me ask you, which part of the Ten Commandments would you find, do not eat this forbidden fruit, because if you eat, you will die? It is not in there. But are you telling me this is not a commandment to the people? Yes. God commanded them not to eat, but this is not the Ten Commandments. So these, my brothers, want me to believe that if I say there was no Ten Commandments in the Garden of Eden, then there was no law at all. You don't understand the scriptures. Before the Ten Commandments, God was communicating with people and he gave them verbal laws. And I cited an example like he commanded Noah to use gopher wood to build an ark. He commanded him to do that. And Noah obeyed. This is not in the Ten Commandments, but this is a verbal command to Noah. So, if we say that there was no Ten Commandments law or the Sabbath in the Garden of Eden, it doesn't mean God did not command them to do something. God told them to be fruitful and subdue the earth. So here, what prevents God from saying that observe the Sabbath or keep the Ten Commandments? Because we hear God communicating with them, but it is not there. He did not ask them to observe the Sabbath or keep the Ten Commandments. It is my brothers and sisters who are claiming to observe the Sabbath today. They want to push that or insert something in that text. But if you do that, you become a false teacher, because you are, putting something which is not there into the text. Again, they quoted Mark chapter 2, verse 27 to 28 to say that I should believe that or you should believe that that quotation says God gave the Sabbath to man in the Garden of Eden and also in the Ten Commandments. Let's read that quotation too. Mark chapter 2, verse 27 to 28. Brothers and sisters, I have made this a video in our local language, the tree, and I sent to my brothers. But they are saying that I have not said anything with all this. And I want you to judge. You go and listen to their tape and also listen to this and judge for yourself. They are quoting Mark chapter 2, verse 27 to 28 to say that God gave the Sabbath to man in the Garden of Eden. And this is what the passage says. Mark 2:27. It says, and he said unto them, who is the he? That is Jesus Christ. And Jesus said unto them, the Sabbath was made for man, and not man for the Sabbath. Therefore, the Son of Man is the Lord also of the Sabbath. End of quote. My brothers and sisters, this is the quotation that my brothers who observe the Sabbath want me to believe that this is where God gave the Sabbath to mankind. I read again. And he said unto them, the Sabbath was made for man, and not man for the Sabbath. Therefore, the Son of Man is the Lord of the Sabbath. End of quote. Tell me where in this quotation that Jesus said the Sabbath was made for man in the Garden of Eden. Now, here Jesus, the Pharisees, you see, the Pharisees are accusing him of breaking the Sabbath. Remember, Jesus was a Jew, so the Sabbath bind him because the Sabbath was given to the Jews. So here, the Pharisees are, accusing him of breaking the Sabbath. He, Jesus, and his followers or his disciples. And Jesus is saying that he is the Lord of the Sabbath. Why? Jesus is God, and it is God who gave the Sabbath to the people of Israel on Mountain Sinai. That's where people fail to understand that the law was given to them on Mountain Sinai. They say, no. The law was given to them in the Garden of Eden. Jesus himself said in John chapter 1, verse 17, that the law was brought by Moses, was given to the people through Moses, but the grace was brought by Jesus Christ. Now, if Jesus said the law was brought by Moses, the question is, was Moses in the Garden of Eden? If my brothers from the Seventh-day group are saying that the law was given to people in the Garden of Eden, Jesus is saying that the law was brought by Moses. So who is lying? Is it Jesus lying? Not telling people the truth that the Ten Commandments law, including the Sabbath, was given to the people in the Garden of Eden, and he is saying that no, it was brought by Moses. I know my Lord will not lie. And you and I know that indeed on Mountain Sinai, God called Moses and gave him the Ten Commandments, which has the Sabbath in it. So, my brothers who are claiming that the Ten Commandments law and the Sabbath was given to people in the Garden of Eden, quoting Genesis chapter 2, 2 and 3, and Mark chapter 2, verse 27, what they are saying is false. And that is what we call a false teaching. Now, Mark chapter 2, verse 27, Jesus said, Sabbath was made for man. This quotation does not say that the Sabbath was given to man in the Garden of Eden. It's like I tell you, car was made for man. If somebody tells you the car was made for man, that phrase doesn't tell you when the car was made or where the car was made. So if Jesus said the Sabbath was made for man, he's not telling you where the Sabbath was given or when the Sabbath was made. He said that because the Jews who are observing the Sabbath, they are men. So if he says, now you are blaming me, but let me tell you, the Sabbath was made for man, it's not saying that the Sabbath was made for man in the Garden of Eden. All that he is saying is that they, the Jews, they are also human beings. And God made this Sabbath for them. And it's not the man that was made for the Sabbath. I don't know if you understand the analysis I'm making. You understand? So this text does not say anything about the Sabbath given to man in the Garden of Eden or when the Sabbath was given. So that is the point I want you to understand. Because this does not say when the Sabbath was made or where it was given, you cannot use this quotation to say that this is where God said that he was giving the Sabbath to man in the Garden of Eden. All he said is Sabbath was made for man. Now, the term man Jesus used here was referring to the Jews who were given the Sabbath, but not man in a generic term. Because it was the Jews who were observing the Sabbath. And then we will go into the scriptures to let you know that this Sabbath and the Ten Commandments laws were given to the Jews and Jews alone. But before we go to that part, let's answer this question too. Now, they quoted Matthew chapter 5 verse 17. If you are dealing with any person who claims to observe the Sabbath and he does not take you to Matthew 5:17, then that person is not a true Sabbatarian. But we know this quotation that they misquote it, they misinterpret it. The word is they misinterpret it. It's not what the text said. That is how they, interpret it. Now, they say Matthew 5:17 and Matthew 3 verse 15 because the Bible used the word fulfillment there. So if I'm saying that Matthew 5:17, Jesus said he came not to destroy the law, but to fulfill it. And I am saying that fulfillment he's talking about is that there was a prophecy that the law, which is the 5 books of Moses called the law, was made about Jesus Christ. Even if you go to Genesis chapter 3 verse 15, there's a prophecy there. That prophecy was referring to Jesus Christ. And then Deuteronomy chapter 18 verse 15 to 18, there's also a prophecy about Jesus Christ coming. So these law books have prophesied about Jesus Christ. So Jesus saying that he came to fulfill all these prophets. That is why he said, I did not come to destroy the law and the prophets. Whenever they quote this quotation, they only say that I did not come to destroy the law, but they leave out the prophet. Why are they leaving out the prophet? Because the same text that says I did not come to destroy the law also says I did not come to destroy the prophets. So if you are claiming that law is the 10 Commandments, then what about the prophets? Which means if the 10 Commandments law is what Jesus Christ is talking about, that he came so that he is coming to enforce the Ten Commandment law, then you have to also understand that then he is coming to also enforce the prophets. Where are the prophets? Ask these, my brothers, this question. So it is not true. Matthew 5:17, all that the text is saying that Jesus said, do not think that I came to destroy the law and the prophets. I did not come to destroy them, but to fulfill them. The word fulfill is to honor a prophecy, is to honor a promise, is to make sure something that has been said in the past come true. That is fulfillment. Now, which of the 10 commandments is a prophecy that need to be fulfilled? So note that Jesus is not talking about the 10 commandments there. He's talking about the prophecy in the law and what the prophet said. Now, brothers, let's quickly rush to Luke chapter 24, verse 44. And then after this, we will end the part 1 and then come to part 2. Luke chapter 24, verse 44. Listen to what Jesus is saying here. And this quotation, Jesus is referring to Matthew chapter 5, verse 17. Matthew chapter 5, verse 17, when Jesus said this quotation, this text, Jesus has not yet died. But Luke chapter 24, Jesus has died and resurrected. He's been raised from the dead. And he's referring them that he said something to them when he was alive, before he died. And he wants to tell them that this is what has come to pass. And listen to what he said in Luke chapter 24, verse 44. Jesus said here, and he said to them, these are the words which I spoke unto you while I was yet with you, while I was still alive, that all things must be fulfilled, which were written in the law of Moses. Right? You know, Matthew chapter 5, verse 17, he said, I did not come to destroy the law. And here, he's saying that anything that is written in the law of Moses, he add even Moses' name to it, so that you know that the law he's talking about is the books that Moses, is given to Moses. And we have about 5 books of Moses, okay, called the Torah, which is called the law books. And these books have some prophecies about Jesus Christ. And Jesus said, I'm coming to fulfill what the law say about me, what the prophet say about me, and what the Psalms also say concerning me. I'm coming to fulfill them. If I do not do what the law, the prophets, and the Psalms have prophesied, then I have destroyed these prophecies, or destroy the law and them. So listen to what Jesus said, and I quote again. And he said to them, these are the words which I spoke unto you while I was still with you, that all things must be fulfilled which were written in the law of Moses and in the prophet and in the Psalms concerning me. My brothers, this is a very simple thing that you have to understand. But they go to Matthew chapter 5, verse 17 and he said that he did not come to destroy the law. He did not come to destroy the law. Ask them, what about the prophet? Because he said he did not come to destroy the law and the prophets. Because they don't understand the text. It's not the 10 commandments he did not come to destroy. That is not what he's talking about. But the law of Moses in general, which prophesied about him, is what Jesus Christ was talking about. And the prophets in general who prophesied about him, and also the Psalms that also talk about him, is coming to fulfill them. Luke chapter 24, verse 44. Brothers and sisters, because of time, I want to finish the part 1 here, but don't go anywhere. Part 2 is soon following. If you have only played this tape, please, I will beg you to look for part 2 for you to fully understand. I'm still answering my brothers who posed this question to me. Now, in part 2, the Bible teaches that the 10 Commandments law, including the Sabbath, was given to the Jews or the Israelites, and Israelites alone on Mountain Sinai. I've noticed that some people who even go to church on Sunday claim the 10 Commandments is for them. 10 Commandments is not for Christians. If you want to understand this, follow me to part 2, and you'll know that 10 Commandments was not for Christians. God bless you as you continue to follow this. Don't go anywhere. Follow me with part 2, or look for part 2. God bless you. My name is Brother Paul Offin. If you want more of these teachings, visit any Church of Christ near you, and they will tell you the truth. And you shall find the truth, and the truth will set you free. God bless you.